Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 45 of Couch Crunchers, where we have added a plus to the end of our name to make it a lot cooler. We are now Couch Crunchers Plus. With me, I have got Tyler and a special guest. Introduce yourself there.
AZNSlickSlaya. Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. I'll try to call you Slick as much as I can. Slick and I actually grew up together. We played like bass guitar in rival bands in high school, so I may revert to his real name here every now and again, but he's a cool guy. I've known him a long time. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to start off with Faberflub like we usually do. If you don't know what Faberflub is, you don't listen to our show. But if you don't listen to our show and you're tuning in for AZNSlickSlaya, or just tuning in because you're like, whoa, what is this thing with this fat guy talking? Faberflub is a segment where we read off some headlines and we decide whether or not we think they are. And are you ready, Tyler, to do this?
Yeah.
Cool. We decide whether or not we think they are fabulous or
flabulous. I was
perfect. No, we got it, man. I waited for you. I knew the lag was coming. So cool. Let's start off. This isn't really a Faberflub. The first thing I'm going to say, but Disney has named their streaming service Disney Plus, hence my Couch Crunchers Plus comment there. So Disney's streaming service is coming out, and one of the first things they announced with this is that there's going to be a live-action show that revolves around Cassian from Rogue One. So Star Wars is going to get another show other than The Mandalorian that revolves, around Cassian. So what do you guys think?
Oh, I heard about it. I didn't realize that Cassian was going to be the main character. I knew that they were bringing him back.
Yeah, I was doing some research on it today, and it looks like it's like his show.
Okay, I'm all for that. I think it's a fab. Anything from that Rogue One universe, like they just nailed that so well. That movie was so amazing. If they can take that and get the same quality brought into a show, that would be awesome. It'd be fantastic.
Sounds good. And as you guys can see, Tyler there is just as talented as Drax. He is standing so perfectly still that he's become invisible to the eye. That is why we can't see him on the video.
That makes sense now. I get it.
What about you, Slick?
I'm eating chips.
I think that's a fabulous. I think that's fabulous as well. Anything with Rogue One, I really enjoyed that movie. I just worry about it being episodic and eventually kind of running out of material. A lot of the stuff I watch, they kind of have like a peak at the beginning, have a lull that you say, well, I'll just get through this episode, and then at the end they peak again to bring you back to the next season. So I'm kind of curious as how Disney writers will do it. It'll be interesting.
Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I really hope that I like shows that are shorter. So like the Daredevils, those Netflix Marvel shows. Even honestly, I think they could probably be 3 episodes shorter. But like 10 episodes, I think is really good length, which is why I get bored sometimes with some of these CW shows and these other ones where it's like 22 episodes. Because it's like you said, it starts off strong for about 5 episodes, and then it kind of lulls for a little while. And then at the end, it brings you back in. And you just have all this filler in the middle that you just don't need. So I agree, fab. I'm really looking forward to this show because I loved Rogue One. It might be the best Star Wars movie ever made. It was good. It was just really good. As far as what Disney has put out, it definitely is the best thing that Disney has put out. And Cassian was a great character. I would love to see more of him. I doubt we would see Jin or really any of those other characters because they didn't meet until Rogue One. But Cassian's a cool character, and I think that it would allow us to see other Star Wars characters. Mon Mothma, like the actress that played Mon Mothma, really isn't that big of an actress, so she could be in the show. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's a great idea. These are the kinds of characters I want to see shows about.
Well, what about K2SO? Think that he might make an appearance?
Oh, yes. Please. Oh, please. Yes.
That would be awesome.
K2SO is the best droid in all of Star Wars. R2D2 is very close, but K2SO is so freaking funny. And that actor's great. Alan Tudyk, I think. Yeah, Alan Tudyk.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
And he's the kind of actor that would do TV. I mean, he did Firefly. And, he does movies, but he's not like, Tom Hanks,
He's Steve the Pirate.
Yeah. he's someone you can get for TV. So, yeah, dude, K2SO, heck yeah, dude, that sounds great. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say I disagree with you on is, like, I know that you like the shorter seasons. I like to have seasons that are longer, but just keep you enthralled the whole time. Like, if you look at, like, 24, 24 was, like, edge of your seat every episode, and you're just, like, so bummed when you hear that, like, beep, beep, beep at the end of the episode, like you want.
So I kind of agree. 24 was really good for the first 2 seasons, and then I started watching season 3, and it wasn't that season 3 was bad, but it was just kind of like it just drags and it drags and it drags. So even 24, which is a pretty good example. No, I want shorter ones. Also, I like to rewatch them, and I'm not rewatching 24 episodes of 10 seasons. I'm just not watching. I'm not going to rewatch 240 episodes. I won't do it. So that's a big problem for me. I rewatched Daredevil season 1 and 2. Not going to rewatch all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. probably ever, because it's just too much.
Oh, I've already done that.
Have you? I don't know. I guess it depends. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like quite a bit, but still, there's too much of it. Too much. Cool. Any more thoughts on that, guys?
Nope.
I think with the channel, it'll be awesome, and I'm excited for it, because anything that gives me more information about the universe, I'm just glued to the screen. Just can't stop watching. So
I love Star Wars. I'm so excited to see more. Well, and speaking of Star Wars, this is what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Just for unseen circumstances, we had to turn off our heater and open our windows in order to air out our house because it stunk because of our dogs. And so I'm wearing a jacket, so you can't really see my Star Wars shirt unless I do this. So it's a little bit cold in my house because it's 30 degrees right now.
I'm also wearing a retro Star Wars shirt, but I'm staying far too still for you to see that. So
I'm so glad you're playing along with that. Perfect. Well, speaking of Drax, our next Faberflub is that Avengers 4, per the Russo brothers, is currently 3 hours long for its runtime at this stage of editing. Now, to be fair, that's at this stage of editing. I don't think it's going to remain that way, but what do you guys think so far about the idea of Avengers 4 being 3 hours long?
I'm all for it, man. Like, it was funny because, like, when I saw that post on Facebook about it, I'm just scrolling through the comments, and everybody is just saying, I don't care if it's 10 hours long. I'll take off work and go see it. I mean, like, yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to develop a virus so my boss can let me go see this. Yeah, like, I'm all for it. I mean, if it's good, which if it's anything like Infinity War Part 1, then it's going to be fantastic. And I mean, you look at quality movies that are that long, and I could watch a marathon of Lord of the Rings extended versions, so something like that. A lot of people are even doing marathons before new movies come out for Marvel, so I think that it's going to get a lot of good feedback for the length. Especially with all of the characters. They just making it longer is going to make it so that they even have more of a chance of getting all those characters in there.
Exactly, dude. I want it to be long. Like, Infinity War was long, but I could have done with 20 more minutes because there were some characters that you didn't really get to see much. So I'm all for 3 hours, but I don't think it's going to remain that way. I say fab to as long as they want to make it. I'm with you, dude. I could watch those extended Lord of the Rings, and I've actually been thinking about rewatching them lately because they're so awesome. I'm totally down, man. Make it 4 hours long. I'm good. Like, I'm really hoping that a theater nearby me does. Like, a marathon of Avengers 1 through 4 or something, and I'll just take the day off work and I'll watch all 4 Avengers movies. Even though there's way more overarching Marvel story, I can't watch all 22 movies it'll be at that point, I think. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's just not possible. But yeah, dude, I'm freaking stoked.
Just get your Ultra HD TV, and we'll do another one of these live streams, just doing Lord of the Rings, and we'll have it going for a good 12 hours that day.
Lord of the Rings I can do. That's possible in a day. I remember doing that about 8 years ago. I had people over to my house, and we watched Fellowship, and then we took a break, and we had lunch, and we watched Two Towers, took a break, ordered some pizza, and watched Return of the King. It was great. It was a great day. What do you think, James?
For me, I'm a little bit have a different view. I don't think I could do those other movies. In fact, pretty sure I only did those movies once when they're really long. But I'm a huge superhero fan. I could do it all, like a 24-hour marathon of this stuff. So bring on the 3 hours, tack on more stuff. I say, I say fabulous on that. It'd probably be the only movie I would ever do that with.
It's okay to be wrong about Lord of the Rings. Lance agrees with you, and he's wrong. So, I love you, Lance, and if you're listening or watching at all. All right, cool. Well, another piece of news that I thought would be fun to talk about. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it's the Deadpool PG-13 cut has been officially confirmed to be called Once Upon a Deadpool. And it's coming out December 12th. And it is Deadpool 2 cut to PG-13 with about, I think they said it, I'm scrolling down here to read it, but I think it's about 8 to 10 new scenes that they filmed for the movie. Okay. So, what do we think? PG-13 Christmas-ish version of Deadpool 2. Good thing, bad thing? Is this a fab, flub? What do we think?
I think it's a fab. And I kind of don't want to be like a broken record saying fab to everything, but but I think it's a fab because I'm not a dad yet, but I mean, I've gamed with enough dads that I know that it's hard for them sometimes to be able to see movies or game the things that they want when their kids are around. And this just like opens up the opportunity for them to like experience that with their kids. Yeah. And I think it's great because those of us who got to see it, the rated R version that we wanted, we all got that. And it's opening up the opportunity for more people to see it. And, I when they announced that as well, I was reading comments. People were so angry about it for some reason. And I just wanted to be like, hey, big guy, sun's going down real low,
Nice.
People need to take a chill pill, I think, about it. I think it's awesome. I think it's great.
No, dude, I'm all for it. I'm with you. Like, I saw the original version of the movie and I really liked it, but give me a PG-13 version. I don't have any issue with that. Like you said, it allows some of these kids who maybe their dads wouldn't let them. They get to go see the movie now. I don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters or not. I kind of want to, but knowing that it's Deadpool 2 with just like 8 new scenes, I'm not sure. I saw it in theaters. I bought it and I've watched it. I don't know. I don't know if I need to see it again, but I'm totally down for this movie to come out. Heck yeah.
When I first heard it, I was a little bit hesitant. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Yeah. But when they said there'd be new scenes in it and everything, and it's Deadpool, I'm fabulous. It's a fabulous answer for me, just because I know that they're gonna have to tone it down, but it may not be as bad as we think, and they have good writers and good actor, so I think it's gonna be good. Plus, it's Deadpool. He'll break the fourth wall, and it'll be awesome.
Heck yeah, awesome.
Well, the other thing is too that they're getting away with more and more stuff that is included in PG-13. You know, I'm watching Venom, and he bit like what 3 dudes' heads off. Like,
Yeah.
they were thinking about making the Fellowship of the Ring rated R because one orc got his head cut off. You know, back in what 2001. So I mean, there's you're still going to get a lot of action that's not edited out of Deadpool. You're not going to have all the F-bombs and everything, but it's like, you know, that's not such a huge deal. And the fact that it's on the big screen again as well, like, that's the movie going experience, you know, like there's so many movies that I would love to go back and watch again on the big screen. And that's a huge thing right now, like with theaters releasing old movies on the big screen for you to have that nostalgia. So I think that once again, people are going to be really receptive to it. You know, I might even go watch it. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I may see it. I may not. What I'm almost most curious about, honestly, is where they're going to put the one F-bomb. Where are they going to put it?
Yeah, right.
Or are they actually going to not do it at all? Because if I saw on the poster, it said something about it being, we don't give an F. I think that's what they said. It's like on their poster where it's got Deadpool riding a freaking reindeer, and it says, we don't give an F. So I'm curious, there maybe won't be a single F word in it, but I have a feeling there's going to be at least one, and then they'll play it for laughs. I'm still hoping, though, that, and it sounds like they're not going to do it based on the article I read, but I'm still hoping that they'll leave a lot of the language in and just bleep it. I think that would be really fun.
Awesome.
And they actually just left it all in and they bleeped it, and then Deadpool even looked at the screen once and, you know, got mad about them bleeping his movie out. I think that'd be really funny.
I think that it's very plausible that they might do a Good Place type thing where they're like, mother forking shirt, you know, something like that.
That's possible. That's very possible.
Or maybe do like a Scott Pilgrim kind of thing where they bleep it out, and it's just part of the comedy. Like, why are you talking like that?
Yeah. Saying what?
Now,
What?
when is this movie releasing? Because I'm curious how it will
December
do.
12th.
You know, December 12th. When's Aquaman coming out?
December 21st.
So I wonder if. So they're not going to try to like take that weekend, which is smart.
Yeah. And I don't think they're planning on making a ton of money from it. And obviously they didn't have to put a ton of work into it. Like, the movie's done. It's already released. It's out on Blu-ray and 4K and everything. They filmed a few more new scenes, and they're like, we're going to throw it in theaters. You know, there's not a lot of risk to them.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
And I think it would be kind of a slap in the face to DC if Marvel was just like, our movie that we already released, I think it can do better than your Aquaman movie.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, that's not happening. All right, cool. Well, I've got a couple more. Do either of you guys play Final Fantasy?
I do not know.
No, then I'm not even going to
as
bother.
a teenager, but
So I'm just going to say it, but we don't need to talk about it because now I've already started, so I may as well at least say what I'm talking about. Final Fantasy 15, they lost like their main like developer, like the head director of the whole project. And the game came out 2 years ago, but they are canceling 75% of the DLC that they had originally planned because of this. So there's a character in Final Fantasy 15, the villain. His name's Arden. They're going to do an episode revolving around him that comes out in March, but otherwise they're getting rid of it. Like, they were going to do one around the main character, like do another story arc around just him, and they were going to do an arc around his love interest, Luna Freya, but they're not doing that anymore. And for me, it's really disappointing because spoiler alert for my top 5 list, Final Fantasy 15 is not on it, but it is an honorable mention. It was a really great game, and so I'm disappointed because I wanted some more. Anyway, let's move on. I just kind of want to talk about what we've been playing. What have we been up to, and then we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about you. It's like we want to let our listeners know who you are. So, feel free to what you guys been up to.
I've mostly been playing World of Warcraft. The new expansion, Battle for Azeroth, just came out. It came out a couple months ago now. Yeah, no, it's I mean it's really good. They've got some things that they're going to be improving on here in upcoming patches. I mean, that's one of the appeals to World of Warcraft to me, is that there's so much content that's added all the time. Like there's just constantly more and more and more content, and you just don't see that from really much anything else out there. And so, yeah, I mean, you get really a slew of things like that. I've also played a little bit of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 just because I made so much gold in World of Warcraft that I was able to use that to buy Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for PC.
Holy cow.
Freaking awesome. That's so cool.
I bought the like $130 edition one.
I think I need to play WoW.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I bought the Destiny 2 for Max and I, like it's on PC as well that way. So it's pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I've played a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Origins, but I haven't had as much time as I would like to hop into some other things. I've started Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. Now I'm like getting it mixed up. I can't say it.
No, that's right.
And then I started Shadow of War, which I'm really excited to finish that as well. But yeah, that's what's going on with me right now.
You just mentioned a game that I hadn't thought about, and so I'm going to write that down real quick. Dude, so I want to hear a little bit, though, about your new rig, because so Tyler and I are we're cousins. We've been friends since we were 0 years old. And so anyway, we play games together all the time. And like he said, he bought me Destiny 2 on PC, which I played quite a bit. I love Destiny. But you just got a new rig. And so I want to know, how sexy is that thing?
Well, it doesn't look sexy, but it is sexy. I call it a sleeper.
Monitor's not good or something?
No, it's just that. So I bought a PC that was basically everything that I needed except for the GPU, and I added some RAM as well. But it's not like, it doesn't have like the flashy case. It doesn't have the you can't see inside of it. There's no lights. It's just like a plain.
Wait, there's no lights?
That's just
there were no lights.
I mean, I guess I could get some Christmas lights out and like, put it on there.
Here, let's do this. I guess I can show everyone mine here. I've got some lights.
Yes.
It's not that cool.
That's a PC.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that, but I mean, it's great. Like, I mean, if I want to overclock anything, I will have to get a new motherboard. But as it stands right now, the motherboard works great, and it's I have an 8th Gen i5. I've got 16 gigs of DDR4, and I have a GTX 1080, an MSI brand. And so, I mean, I could potentially run 4 monitors off of my GPU.
So essentially what it sounds like is you've got yourself a Nissan Versa body, and you've got yourself a real nice engine inside.
Yeah, like a Ferrari. I got like a Ferrari engine in my Toyota Camry is what I got.
It's true though. That's what I mean though. Like, yeah, it's not as like pretty looking as my like gaming PC's like actual case, but your computer's better than mine. Like,
you don't want to drag race against me.
Exactly. I've got a 960, which is fine for a graphics card. I got, I think I've actually only got 8 gigs of RAM, which it works fine for me. And I've got an i5 as well, but it's nothing like crazy.
Well, the thing is, I use Chrome, and I usually have a bunch of tabs up, and Chrome is such a RAM hog. Like, it's so, I mean, yeah, I mean, I needed it because I was doing it with just the 8 gigs at first, and it was like I was pushing, 7 gigs of RAM all the time, just like maxing it out when I was not doing very much, So I was like, I need some more. But the really cool thing about my rig is that because I looked for the right deals and I put it together, like I only had to put a couple of pieces in, but it was under $1,100.
Not bad.
And so, yeah, I mean, the equivalent gaming rigs that I've found, the cheapest one I found was $1,450. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, save myself at least $400 on the rig. So,
but what's crazy, and to be fair, your rig is better than an Xbox One X, but it's crazy that for $500 you can buy a console that puts out pretty close to as good of a gaming experience. It's crazy.
Yes, but I cannot get my CIT degree on on an Xbox. So
I know. It's a good excuse, right? You talk to the missus and be like, "Hon, I gotta have a computer for college."
Yep, exactly, exactly. Otherwise, it would not have happened.
Oh, I know. Well, what about you, James? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of this game called Ring of Elysium, and it's basically another BR game. This one's made by Tencent. And I don't know if you guys have played PUBG Mobile, but the first thing that pops up when you load the game is Tencent. Apparently, they're a huge company in Asia. I didn't, realize this, but they're huge. They own some stock in Fortnite. They have some deals with PUBG, and so they made this game. And I was able to download it on their game launcher back in April. And it was a regular BR in third person. It had some high ping issues, but it was a really beautiful game. Yeah. And then they shut it down over the summer to work on it, and now it's back. And now it finally has its own identity, because people would say it's a PUBG clone or it's whatever, but now it has its own identity. It's a snow map. You don't drop in; you actually pick your spot, and then when you at the end, it's not like a real shootout where you have to, last person wins. A helicopter will come in, and you have to climb into the helicopter. 4 people can actually win, 4 different people. So say, there are, 4 different squads, and 1 person from each squad gets it in the helicopter. Now you have 4 squads that win. It's kind of different, and some people are not jiving with that. But what's interesting is as the helicopter comes in and it's waiting for you to get on, the weather comes in. And this has some amazing weather effects, like a blizzard comes in. Your monitor, your screen will like kind of crystallize, like it's like freezing over. And it's pretty intense at the end. So I've been playing that. And then I played a little bit of Fallout 76. I feel like a lot of other people were able to get on these beta times and just play to like level 40. But I had enough. I played a couple of sessions, and at first I played on the Xbox, and I don't know why, but I just wasn't digging it for some reason. I felt like, well, if I'm going to play this, I might as well just finish Fallout 4. And then I think I had like, nothing to really, stream or whatever. So I did the beta on PC as well, just to try it out because I had the code, and it changed my mind. And I'm a new PC player, so I think that's what it is I love using my keyboard and mouse to go through the menus to build things, and I'm pretty excited about Fallout 76. Pretty excited.
Nice. So is this Rings of Elysium, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, Ring of Elysium.
Elysium. So is that on PC or is that a mobile game?
Yeah, that's on PC, and that's actually I remember I just got my PC when this game started becoming available back in April, and I was playing a few other games like Fortnite and I think this other game, what's it called, the Darwin Project or something. Trying to get used to keyboard and mouse because I've been using an Elite controller for like years, and it just my hands would get tired and everything. And I got this game, Ring of Elysium. And that's what conditioned me to the keyboard. My hands are like now comfortable, and it just kind of opened me up to PC gaming, like to enjoy it and everything.
See, it's crazy because I got into PC gaming like a couple years ago. Granted, I don't really play on my PC hardly at all anymore because I got an Xbox One X, and for me, I like it to look as pretty as possible, and it's better than my computer rig. But yeah, no, I totally get what you mean, because at first I was used to playing on that Xbox controller, and even in the Elite one too, which the Elite is awesome. And so the keyboard and mouse was kind of tough for me. Like Tyler, you've been playing on PC for like ever. I wasn't used to it, so it took me a while. But yeah, I got really comfortable at one point. And as far as like screen management and menus and everything, man, PC is so much better. Like it is just so nice. And the frames per second too. Like as pretty as 4K looks and HDR look on my TV on the Xbox One X, I don't get 100 frames. Like when I'm playing Destiny 2, sure it's only in 1080p, but it's like 100 frames per second when I'm playing Destiny, and that is so nice to have such a smooth, crisp image when you're playing a shooter like that. It's just it's great. So I love that.
And people always ask like, oh, why can't you bring WoW to console? And I'm like, well, I have all my buttons mapped on the like entire left side of the keyboard, and then I have a mouse that has 14 buttons on it, plus left and right click that are all mapped to different abilities. Like, where are you going to be able to do that on a controller? Like you can't.
Yeah, you can't. Which is why mouse and keyboard support is so important. Like Xbox at the beginning of Xbox One was really trying hard to bring in mouse and keyboard support, to bring in all these MMOs, but they weren't allowing mouse and keyboard. And it sounds like they're getting close. Like they're really trying to support.
It's close. I think the preview project, people in that, which I should try it. I just don't want to have to disconnect all my cables. I think they're able to play Warframe with keyboard and mouse, which I think that's a good call. On Warframe's part.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome, and I'm excited. And you hear all these people complain about the idea of keyboard and mouse, and they're like, "Yeah, but then it would give these people an unfair advantage." And
Yeah.
Dude, some of the best Destiny 2 players play on PC on a freaking Xbox controller. Like, yes, it gives you a bit of an advantage, but I don't care. I'm just there to have fun. I'm not there for YOLO swag, competitive, I don't know. I don't care. Let us have keyboard and mouse on Xbox and PS4 or whatever, like if we want to. Like it just bugs me. Bugs the crap out of me.
I'm one of the people that bugs you then, Max, because I think that the mouse and keyboard is a serious advantage over the controller, and personally I like playing with a controller more. Like I like as far as shooters go, maybe not for like Fortnite where you need like all those other functions, but for like playing Halo or you're playing Call of Duty or whatever, I like the feel of a controller. I like playing with joysticks, and personally I think that a controller takes more skill to be able to use than just pointing and clicking. But the control that you have over your character, even though there are some instances where there are people who are just like insanely good with a controller, that doesn't change the fact that 99% of people out there would have an extreme advantage using keyboard and mouse.
Maybe.
It's like there are a few people out there who can overcome the handicap. That doesn't mean that everybody else can overcome the handicap and still, be competitive. Like you're going to have a handicap playing with a controller against somebody with a keyboard and mouse. It's just how it is.
I guess.
And I totally agree with you on that, Tyler. And I think what's going to be cool is I am fully supportive of keyboard and mouse coming to every gaming platform. We're even talking about, mobile here. I think that would be, fine too, and the reason being I'm okay with it is because I trust developers, people that make Halo, Call of Duty, to implement it where they see fit, which would be probably keeping a competitive lobby on PC keyboard, keeping a competitive lobby on console, just controller. And that's what Microsoft is talking about when they announced it. They said, we are going to enable this so the developers can enable it in their games. And if they don't want to, then they don't have to. And it's up to them to implement how to keep everything fair, which I think, for competitive shooter games, they don't want to have, they don't want to have players complaining. So you may not either see it on those games, or they may have a separate lobby. And apparently with, I think with Fortnite Mobile, it actually will detect whether you have a controller or keyboard. And so you would have to log into the game, I believe, with it attached, and then it'll keep you in a certain lobby. But say you logged into the game and then attached your controller or whatever, it wouldn't allow you in those lobbies. You'd only play with on-screen controller players. And I think the technology is out there to sense that and keep the lobby separate and fair.
Absolutely, it is, and people will find workarounds. They always do. But I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, maybe that's the good compromise. But then the thing is there enough population to allow for keyboard and mouse only? By the way, we have a comment. I gotta say this real quick. Sorry. Okay. We've got a comment, Tommy, on our YouTube saying, "Wow, that's a classy ninja," and I must agree.
Love you, Tommy. You're awesome.
Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, no, it was where was my train of thought?
It was derailed by Tommy.
That's all right, Tommy. I was just there was somebody who was saying that there could be an option where people who are okay with playing with people who have keyboard and mouse to opt themselves into that lobby as well. Yeah. So that might help. I feel like the more we go down that road, the more it opens up to eventually where you're not gonna really they're just gonna end up foregoing the control, the people who want to play with a controller, and just eventually it'll eventually become a moot point, and they won't touch it and not worry about it, and people who want to play with controllers aren't going to be able to be competitive anymore. And I don't really like that. I feel like the more we go down this road, the closer we get to that. But it's going to happen.
You're more competitive than I am, so I totally get your mind. I'm very much a casual player. I'm like, I got like a 1.0, if that, KD in most games. Please put me against people of that same skill level and let us just kill each other. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think with what Tyler said, with that in mind, I think the game developers would want to work, within their, esports partners, as well as the game peripheral partners like Logitech and Scuff, stuff like that, to, if the consoles stay controller only and the PC stay, keyboard or mouse only, that's just more stuff for companies to sell. And so I think that would benefit everyone to keep the competitive games separate. So yeah, I think we'll see controllers around for a while before they melt into just us using our minds to play.
Well, yeah, maybe it'll all be virtual reality soon enough.
we're going to be in the Oasis before long, guys.
That's right.
Oh, man.
So I've been playing Red Dead, and I just finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm in heaven. Well, I was in heaven with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think I like that better than Red Dead, honestly. But, dude, Red Dead is great.
Oh, man.
It's so good. I know you played a little bit of it, Tyler, so you can probably comment a bit. But I'm only in Chapter 3. I'm not that far into the game. But so far, it's just fun. But it's a different kind of fun. I've heard a lot of reviewers describe it as the unfun video game, and I get what they mean, because in some ways it's tedious and it's kind of slow. But I'm really enjoying that, and it might be because I went in knowing that it was going to be slow. Like, what I mean by that is like, there's not really fast travel until you get further on in the game, and I haven't even gotten to that point yet where fast travel exists. If you run into a bar, or for instance, into a saloon, people will freak out. Like, you need to walk into buildings. You need to, if you run into somebody, you could potentially get a bounty put on you because you assaulted someone. Like, it's most games aren't that intense as far as that stuff is concerned. And at some points it's like, man, that's a bit much for me. But then at other times, I love it. Like, it's fun. I'm walking around my camp and I can't sprint. I have to walk in my camp. And sometimes that's annoying, but other times it's refreshing because it just slows you down and it really allows you to immerse yourself in the world. There's also this thing called cinematic mode. You get on your horse, you can set a waypoint, and then you hold down on, like, I don't even know what they call it these days, but it's what essentially used to be the select button. You hold down on that, and it'll take you into cinematic mode. Your horse will kind of just keep running, and it'll take you to your destination. But it's a cinematic experience. You get to see it from all these different angles. And if you're like traveling with a group, it's kind of like you're getting to watch a movie while you're traveling to your destination, because they're all talking to you, but it's going in like different camera angles and stuff. And it's really cool. I really love it. The world is beautiful. The combat is, if you played the first Red Dead, it's a lot like that. It's not like super duper involved combat, but it's fun enough. The horses are fun and cool. Get too hot, you need to remove clothing. If you get too cold, you need to put on a jacket.
Wow.
Like, it's got all these systems in it that, it's intense. And that's why I think I like Assassin's Creed Odyssey a little bit more. As much as I'm enjoying Red Dead because it's refreshing, it's not like my cup of tea all the time. I prefer a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey where you can fast travel wherever you want. You have an eagle that you can send up into the air to mark all your targets. Like, it's super unrealistic, but it's just fun. It's a video game.
You've never had an eagle do that for you?
Yeah,
I've never had an eagle do that. I've never had an eagle do that. But what do you think so far? So
I'm not as far as you. I'm only in chapter 2. I'm totally with you on like everything that you've said. One of the issues that I've had with the game is there's been some really clunky controls at certain points. Yeah. I wanted to wait for a shop to open, but I also like needed like my health and stamina back and stuff. So I went to go sleep at a hotel, and I could not like get my character to be positioned in the right way to where like the thing would pop up so I could press lay in the bed. Like, it was just like I'm trying to point him in, like every time I would just barely scooch past the point where it would say sit in the bed or like lay in the bed, and I'm like, why? What? I'm like right here at the bed. Like, why is this not an option? And
I feel you. The same thing happens to me when I try to freaking hitch my horse half the time.
Yeah,
that's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, there's been other things, just like I was at one point, it's like the second big fight where you fight the O'Driscolls, and you're like trying to stealth up on them. And so I go in, I select my knife, kill the first guy, and then I go to kill the second guy. And just before I kill him, I realize that my fists are equipped instead of the knife. And so I equip the knife again, and I go and I kill that guy, and then I'm thinking I totally equipped the knife, right? So the next guy I go up to, it just punches him, and I'm like, what the heck? And like the whole camp turns on me and kills me. Is the only time I've died in combat, and it's like every single time I want to kill somebody, I have to select the knife over and over and over. Like, why? It's stupid. I selected it. Just keep it selected until I select something else.
No, I agree. I've noticed some weird stuff like that in the game too. And this one I can get, but like whenever you get off your horse, if you didn't grab certain weapons, you won't have them. Like, all you will have is like your pistol and maybe one other weapon. But like, you need to make sure before you get off your horse, you grab your bow, you grab your shotgun, or whatever you want. Like, it's very interesting and kind of weird in that way. And
even if you had them equipped before you got on the horse to be on your person, it automatically stores them back in the horse. Yeah, that's annoying.
Which kind of makes sense. Like, to be realistic, like if you're taking a long journey on your horse, you'd probably want to take the big gun off your back and put it in your horse. But it is kind of annoying. Like, it's like that kind of stuff that, like, it's cool and it's immersive, but I like my video games to be more video game, you know?
Well, and the thing is, it's like, I'm controlling the character. I should be able to tell him if I want him to put it in the horse. You know, like,
yeah.
So
my question is, what's up with the deer in this game? Because I haven't played it, but all the clips and the hilarity I've seen on the internet make me want to get this game so bad. I'm just like, what? Who upset the deer? They're just hitting everyone.
I've seen some of those videos where a deer just like runs into someone and kills it. Or yeah, it's pretty funny. Some of the glitches you see online.
Yeah, I feel like it's an upgraded goat simulator for the deer.
Well, like, nice. I'm bad mouthing the game. You know, I'm saying a lot of negatives, but to be fair, like, it's very good. The world is gorgeous. The story so far is better than Assassin's Creed Odyssey's, but Odyssey's story was kind of just generic, really. You know, it's a cool story. The characters are fun. I love being in the Wild West. A lot of things are great, and a lot of things that I'm complaining about, other people love. Like, a lot of these companies are getting at 9s and 10s. If my off the cuff so far being in chapter 3, on a Couch Cruncher scale, 4 maybe out of 5. So I mean, I wouldn't give it a perfect 5. Like, I haven't reviewed Assassin's Creed yet, but I'm thinking somewhere around 4.5 for that game. But Red Dead is just a little lower. There's just a few things that it's just not my cup of tea. I am loving it though, and when we're done here, and I'm probably going to play, because it is fun and it's great. I mean, 4 out of 5 is still really good. Like, don't get me wrong.
It's super enjoyable. Like, I am totally immersed in the story, to the point where, like, and I normally don't ever feel like this, but like, it's to the point where I feel weird about the moral ambiguity. I can't say that word. So like, like, I'm like, man, I feel like my guy is such a cool, like, good character. He's like respectful to women and like helps people out. But then at the same time, he just goes and murders like all these people at the drop of a hat. I'm like, where is his moral stance? Like, where am I on the spectrum? Like, I'm so confused. But I don't care about killing NPCs, but like, because I'm so like into the story that, you know, I feel that way.
The game makes me care because there's a morality system and it's grounded. Like, it feels very grounded. And I like it. I like it a lot.
And the voice acting in it is phenomenal. Like, you know, like all the dialogue is done super well. I feel like it's like the characters sound like Jeff Bridges, of only if like Jeff Bridges took all the marbles out of his mouth.
It's true though. It's true. I'm sorry, I find that so funny.
But like, it's like just super well done. I feel like if they would have just cleaned up a few things, they could have made the game a way better experience. But as it stands, it is still super good, and you're playing it for the story. You know, like you were mentioning, the combat system is good enough. You're not really playing the game is more fun because it does have some combat in it, but you're not really playing the game for that. You're playing the game for the story and the immersion in the Wild West. You know, and like I was totally stupid. Okay, like the first person I robbed, and I think about this in real life. Okay, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. Nobody would do this in real life who wasn't a total idiot. First person I robbed was the gun store owner, and like, my thought behind it was like, this guy's probably got a lot of money in his till. So, because like all the stuff was super expensive. So I go to rob him, but he just pulls a gun out on me, and then I end up having to shoot him. And like, I didn't have a lot of money yet, right? So like, I shoot him and I take his money. He only had $20 in the till, so I'm like, great. But then I end up getting this bounty on myself, and then I try and go back. Yeah, well, then you try and go back to the town, and it's like, well, I wanted to eventually buy some of those guns, but he's dead now. So I totally screwed myself over. Can't buy anything from this guy in this town anymore, and now I have like a $300 bounty on my head.
Wow. See, I've been trying to be like all good as much as I can. So I haven't ruined it. I haven't robbed anybody. I don't kill people unless I like. Well, I shouldn't say I don't kill them unless I have to. To be perfectly honest, I did a mission the other day, and I got separated from my horse afterwards, and my horse was far away, and you can't call it back to you because I was too far away. Like if you're too far away, it says you're too far away to get it to come back in a whistle. It can't hear you.
Yeah, so you have to upgrade it so it's further away.
Yeah,
you can hear.
Well, even then, I was really far away, like to the point
bionic ears.
Yeah, even if I was fully upgraded, which I am now, it still wouldn't come up to me. But anyway, I was so impatient that I was just running back to my camp, and anytime I saw someone on a horse, I would just kill them so I could take their horse. And I was far enough out in the wilderness, and I had my mask on to where it wasn't putting a bounty on my head. There were no witnesses, you know? It would give me a -1 on my morality scale, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so here's another cool thing about the game. Okay, you got the mask that you can wear.
Yeah.
And I was confused about it at first because I was like, I killed that shop owner. And then I was like, well, I had my mask on, so they shouldn't recognize me, right? That's what, obviously in real life you would be able to see someone. But when you're playing a game, you're like, oh, a mask conceals my identity. Like you just assume that that's right?
Glasses.
That's not the case in this game. Like they've tried to make it so much more realistic to where like the only way that your mask works at concealing your identity is if you go back into the town wearing different clothes too. So you actually have to like change your outfit and go back into the town so that the lawman won't like recognize who you are. So I haven't actually tried that. Yeah, I haven't actually tried that yet, but I read about it online. So now when I get back into it, I'm gonna change my outfit and go back into town because that's like really the only town I have access to right now, and I kind of screwed myself over there.
Yeah, you'll get access to Strawberry really soon, but yeah, Valentine it's close to your camp, and it's the first one you get access to.
Yeah. So
Strawberry, yeah.
And then also, just know that when you're playing this game, there is no end to the lawmen because I had like 5 lawmen after me, right? And I'm like, okay, I can just like run away, set up behind a rock, and kill these guys real fast. So I do that, but then like 4 other lawmen showed up right after I killed those guys. And I was like, oh shoot, where did they come from? So like I killed them, and then more showed up, and I ran further and I killed them, and then eventually there were just 25 lawmen around me. And I was just like, okay, I'm leaving, and I just ran away on my horse. But like
horses run away.
You will run out of bullets before the NPCs stop coming at you with lawmen. There were way more lawmen coming after me than there were people in the town that there were lawmen for.
They're going for realism, but not in that.
So, yeah, awesome. I was just like, oh, maybe I'll get this bounty off me by killing all the lawmen. No.
Yeah. Well, Slick, I want to hear a little bit more about you. So, tell us what you do. Who is AZNSlickSlaya?
I'm just an ordinary guy that plays video games. I mean, that's how it started. I work in aviation, as you know, Max, and it would be kind of like, I'd work overtime, and I'd go home and I'd just relax. I'd go more overtime and then come home and relax. It's kind of boring. My friends were all married and had children. So I decided to work at GameStop. I saw the now hiring sign, and I made it a second job. It was always kind of one of those childhood dreams to work either at a skate shop, video game shop, or it was always kind of like a childhood dream to just say you did it once. And I did it. I worked at GameStop. And I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I got to interact with people. I got to finally be a little more social in my life. And, then, they'd come in and say, oh, I watched this game on Twitch. It's awesome. I'm like, what's Twitch? And they would tell me, there's a guy streaming or a lady streaming, and they're playing a game. and you get to chat with them, and they make a career out of it. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
Right.
So, I went on there, and I didn't really think much of it. I watched a YouTube channel, Streaming 101, I believe it was called, by Professor Broman, and he was kind of giving you tips on how to stream and everything like that, and it kind of pumped me up. And I would say, this is how everyone, gets into streaming, or this is the motivation. They want to play video games and make money, basically, right? Yeah. And I feel like, just as one of my little tips to anyone interested, that's kind of a bad way to get into it, And so over time of starting the streaming thing and everything, I've kind of grown to realize it's a very social aspect. And you're playing this game, but you're also interacting with chat, and there will be funny things that happen in the game, and you guys will share that. And so now that's what Twitch is like a social interaction with people, and it's not about getting Ninja Size or even Dr. Disrespect or anything. He's my favorite streamer, by the way. But so on that note, before I continue on, Tommy, just want to shout out to him. He's always following me around wherever I'm live, so I appreciate that. You're awesome, dude.
Nice.
And so what you'll get from my channel is I play. I start off with Halo, so you'll see me visit that every now and then. Halo 5. I play Destiny 2. And I actually have Destiny 2 on all 3 platforms before they went free, so I kind of feel bad about that.
Tommy puts up a heart on the live chat. Or Tommy.
And then, now I'm playing this Ring of Elysium. And I just hit a year streaming last April, and I kind of, resell. As a streamer, you're always self-evaluating yourself. And trying to figure out what kind of value you bring, or maybe what you can add to it to continue on that value. And I'm a part of the stream team, the streamer community called Team with No Name, and they're the kind of the people that kind of keep me going. They always visit, they always support the channel. It's a networking community, and that was it. I was like, after a year, I felt like I grew comfortably. I'm not large by any means. I'm still a hobbyist, and I was like, okay, now what's the motivation? I've kicked this off. I kind of found my rhythm. Now what's the motivation? And so to kind of explain my outfit and everything and my artwork. When I first started, I didn't have a direction on what I wanted my channel artwork to look like. Yeah. And at one moment, something just clicked, and I turned to my mother. She passed away in 2006, and I used her as an inspiration. She loved to fish. So one of my emotes is a catfish with like a heart. And that's just kind of like the fish were so dopey, so, lovey-dovey that they almost just like jumped at her. It's how much she caught, when we go fishing at night. And she was big into helping others, my dad said. In Thailand, she tried to buy these girls. And I believe she did, my dad said, but they didn't adopt them. They brought them back to their parents or something like that. But she wanted to free them, and that's how they ended up with their first son. Is someone just kind of dropped off this kid, and she just decided to raise him, So helping others and everything, that's kind of the inspiration of the channel. And so right now I have a charity event going on for Toys for Tots. We're trying to raise $1,000 in the months of November and December for Toys for Tots. And so that now is what keeps me going. If I can play video games, provide friendship and entertainment for my viewers, as well as show the world, hey, gaming does good. We've raised money for this. We help people with social anxiety. I myself have a hard time going in public and meeting people in like big busy places. And so what I realized is, Twitch would have been the perfect place for me in my early 20s. Unfortunately, I discovered it a little too late. So yeah, that's kind of the channel in a nutshell. And this here is my next season of the channel, if you will. I didn't start off like this.
Yeah, because I was watching it kind of from the beginning. You may not even know who I am because you've talked to me on your stream before. I don't tune in all the time, but I'm Liamud, and I've been on your stream a few times.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I've been on your stream a few times before. Yeah, so I'm aware you didn't always look like this, and then you sent me your picture the other day. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? So when did this happen?
I'd say probably a month and a half ago, and my dad was visiting from Thailand. Full disclosure, I'm adopted. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. He's a white guy from Illinois, so he's not like, I don't have a Thai dad or anything. But I'm adopted by my great aunt, and so that's where they met. And he went back to Thailand to kind of pursue a retirement, and just it's a beautiful country. So he came back to visit me, and I kind of told him what I had an idea of, and he comes back from the Oriental store here in town, and he brings this hat. I was talking about I wanted to get an Asian hat for skits or something like that. Like I said, Dr. Disrespect is a very one of my favorite streamers. He's just so entertaining of how he acts and stuff, and I like one of his greatest tips
as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. One of his tips was stream as if you are streaming to nobody and no one's in the room, and you can just be yourself 100%.
Yeah.
And that's Dr. Disrespect,
Well, but then I wouldn't have any pants on.
Well, that's why the camera's up here.
Fair enough. I'm wearing pants right now.
Right? So I put on this hat, and then I don't know if you can see my logo. I don't have it up or anything like that. But in my logo, the guy has a similar hat. His is a little more flatter, but he has a mask. And I also wanted to add that. So then I added the mask, and it just felt right. And, here's a little teaser into next year. I'm currently working on a story because I don't think I could be like Dr. Disrespect. It doesn't feel like me to put on a character act.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do love wearing outfits, and I'm not a cosplayer or anything. I do love wearing this getup. So the story I'm creating, is going to basically be, I turn myself into a hero through this story, basically. And so I'm working on some video and some kind of comedy things with it. And that's kind of what's going to explain this getup in a story fashion. But, basically, I just like putting this on. It's fun.
Nice. And is the suit always part of it, or is that just a special Couch Crunchers treat?
No, this was for you guys. This is I went and bought this today. This is for you guys. Now I'm thinking on maybe Slick Suit Sundays or something like that.
There you go.
Where I Sunday mornings I'll wear this. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
It looks good on you, man.
Looking
thank
slick.
you.
Speaking of slick, where did the name come from?
Oh yes. So see, Xbox, was it Xbox One, I believe? Xbox One. I think we're making our Xbox gamer tags for when the live hit. Yeah, it had to be then. I don't know if it was a randomly generated name or if my friend made it. I think my friend made it. His name is Badger IX. You'll see me play with him on some Xbox games occasionally. But he came up with the name AZNSlickSlaya, and then I added some numbers. And so I went with that. I have a hard time coming up with things sometimes. So I just went with it. Years later, I still used it. And I would go to, especially the European channels. They seem to have a hard time saying the hick part. And I grew up, I never knew that to be like a bad word, but it might be a little derogatory, I guess. And I just didn't understand that. And maybe I know in different parts of the world, words mean different things, or they have a different kind of tone. So I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I didn't really want to change it all up. So I just changed the hick to Slick, AZNSlickSlaya. And then that kind of just,
man.
yeah, exactly. And that just kind of just fell right in the channel perfectly. I could say, thank you for that slick follow or something like it. It just felt so natural. So I just went with it. And, the question always comes up. Are you Asian? Are you from Arizona? What's going on? And it's both. AZN, means both.
Yeah.
So,
because I always thought, when I first saw it, I thought AZ as in Arizona,
right.
I never thought Asian until you said your name out loud once, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, so totally, that's super cool. Yeah, so AZNSlickSlaya. Yeah, and I remember when you first started, you were still HickSlaya, but probably a good idea to change it, because you wouldn't want to say, thank you for that Hick subscription there.
Right? Yeah.
I think Slick is cooler. Plus, Slick Sundays, that's a good idea. There you go. I love alliteration, as Tyler can attest.
Yeah.
I was literally saying today, I was like, the Film Fanatics would be a cool name for a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm all about alliteration. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming on, James. We kind of wanted to get to know you. We wanted to hear about your charity event that you're doing, Toys for Tots. You'll have to get us a link to whatever the donation is. We can put that up on Couch Crunchers. See if we can get.
Did you want me to drop it in chat for you?
Yeah, that sounds great, and then we'll post it on our social media as well. That'd be great. If you're on the YouTube channel, feel free to drop it right in there, or if you want to put it in the Hangouts chat, and I'll disperse it from there. Either way. All right. So the last thing we wanted to talk about was our top 5 video games of this generation. Not all time. I didn't want to do all time because that would have been way too hard for me. I just couldn't do it. So, excuse me. We're going to do our top 5 games of this generation. So Xbox One, PS4, because PCs don't really have generations. You can play pretty much any game you want on a PC forever from the past and now. That's probably one of the best things about a PC, honestly. So yeah, let's get started. We'll start with number 5. We'll each say our number 5, then we'll each say our number 4, and so on and so forth until we get to our top 1. With that said, I'll go ahead and start us off. And I'm going to be full disclosure here and say what I had originally, which is going to now bump down to my honorable mentions. Originally, I had Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor as my number 5. And I really want to keep that on my list, but Tyler said Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. And I think that's going to have to be my true number 5, because that game kind of changed my life. Like, it really brought awareness to mental health, and I love it. Like, it's just such a fantastic game. So, I love it. So that's my number 5. So what about you guys?
Well, my number 5 is actually Shadow of Mordor. So
perfect. There we go.
So I had a hard time kind of making this list just because I feel like over the years with so many games coming out, I'm like, which ones came out? So like there might be some that I'm just like not thinking of for whatever reason. But yeah, Shadow of Mordor was phenomenal. As you know, Max, we've talked about it before. I kind of felt like the end boss fight, unfortunately, was a little anticlimactic for me, just because you didn't really do much in the fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, the story was fantastic. The graphics are great. I loved how it was so like it actually was difficult. Like there's so many games that have come out that have even been good games that weren't very hard for me to beat. And this actually was like my first hour of the game. I think I died like 3 times. So
Nice.
it was great on that level, and then just the mechanics of it being very very new, unique, being able to interact with the NPCs the way that you do and control captains and use them to your advantage. All of that was just new, and nobody's really been able to replicate it, I don't think. So they came up with something that isn't being copied, isn't something that other people can just go, I'm going to do that. You've got PUBG, and everybody can replicate PUBG, even though it was a cool and unique idea, it's not something that other people can't pick up. Shadow of Mordor, I feel like if other people had the developing skill to do what Shadow of Mordor is doing it, more people would be doing it because it's so cool. So
it's true. Shadow of Mordor is so good, and now I'm regretting taking it off my list, honestly. Because not because Hellblade doesn't belong there, but now I'm thinking other games that I have on my list higher up don't belong there. It's so good, dude. That Nemesis system, and Shadow of War improves on Nemesis system quite a bit, but I think Shadow of Mordor deserves that spot more because it was the first game and it revolutionized. It's such a cool system. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey kind of has a Nemesis light system, but it's nowhere near as cool as you're running down the street, or you're running, not down the street, but you're running around in Mordor, and this orc just stops you and is like, "You filthy maggot!" Da, 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 da. And he has a specific special story about you. And it's cool because no one's game is going to be exactly like yours. Everyone's game is going to be vastly different because maybe one orc killed you that your friend never even met, because they're randomly generating these different orcs, And so I found that fascinating. And the combat, like you said, is tough, especially in the beginning of the game. The game actually gets easier with time because you unlock abilities and stuff. But yeah, to start off, it's a tough game, and I died a bunch. And it's cool because your death has consequences. You die, and the orc that killed you gets promoted, or he gets stronger and he levels up. And that's kind of different. Rather than it becoming easier, or you're fighting the same guy, you might encounter that same guy later, and now he has a freaking flaming axe, or he does poison damage to you when he touches you, or he's immune to you leaping over his head. He'll gain these abilities that make him even harder to kill. It's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Well, what about you, James?
My 5 is gonna have to be Fallout 4. Just because my favorite Fallout has to be Vegas, but that's on the older generations. With Fallout 4, we have the meme of Preston saying another settlement needs your help. I'm walking around 76. I'm walking around that wasteland all right, where is he and what settlement is needed in it? So I chose that, and plus, they have the base building, and even when I played 76, I know it's a beta, so it's hopefully going to get more amazing.
Yeah.
But I felt 76 was just built upon it's just a Fallout 4 with multiplayer. So I feel that game, being on the new consoles is going to define Fallout games to come. With base building and now we have multiplayer and stuff. So I feel like it's all on built off of the framework that Fallout 4 kind of set up.
Nice, perfect. Yeah, I'm sad to say I've never played a single Fallout game. Yeah, and I know I need to, because I've played the Elder Scrolls, which it's true though. You either like Elder Scrolls or you like Fallout usually. I mean, you can like both, but usually you lean to one, and I'm more of a fantasy guy than a post-apocalyptic. Okay. But I need to play Fallout. I have Fallout 4, I just have never played it. Anyway, my number 4, and it's funny because I say I'm an Xbox guy, but there's not a single Xbox exclusive on my list.
Yeah.
Because there aren't any that
what
deserve to be
exclusive?
Horizon Zero Dawn is my number 4. It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. I don't know if either of you guys have played it. Have either of you played it?
I want to play it. I do not have a PlayStation to play it, so.
Yeah. You said you did play it, Slick?
I did, yeah. I
Dude, that
enjoyed
game
it.
is so good. Now, you'll notice a theme. I like story-driven open world games. And Horizon Zero Dawn was so good. Like, Aloy, the main character, is such a cool character. Like, such a cool character. Like, I love her. I
Yes.
like, she's a Spitfire, and since she's like 19 years old, like, she acts like she's 19 years old. But in a good way. And she's got all this attitude, and she's super strong, and the story's cool, and you're unraveling this whole plot, because it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic as well, where there's like Dinobots ruling the planet now. It's cool. I loved that game, and I can't wait for a sequel. In fact, someday, if I ever am lucky enough to get a PS4 Pro, I'm gonna have to plug that into my 4K TV and play it again, because it was beautiful enough playing it on my PC monitor here, but I can't even imagine playing it, HDR, 4K, and all that. Like, it's just beautiful, and the story's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous. I've definitely wanted to play that game. That and God of War, I definitely wanted to get into, but
yeah,
stupid
PlayStation. They've got some great exclusives, dude. I love my Xbox, but PlayStation's games they're better. I'm still an Xbox guy, but they're better. Like, they just are.
Well,
what do you think of the game?
That kind of brings us to my next exclusive. This wouldn't be until recently, but I'm going to say the Master Chief Collection.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have made the list until the patch came through where they made it so you don't have to be on live for the LAN connections. Like, my favorite memories of all time gaming are getting my friends together and blasting each other up and being able to yell at each other from each room. Like, that's the best gaming experience to me. Like, actually having people in the same house and having a good time, ordering some pizza, eating the whole crap load of junk food, and staying up until 3 a.m. Like, that's the best experience to me. And Master Chief Collection, we just had that recently. Max was down here in Arizona, and we did that recently, and that was so much fun. And I'm actually going to another LAN party tomorrow for it. So, yeah, super fun. I mean, plus obviously going back and playing the other games with a little bit higher definition is fantastic too. But yeah, if they don't put that in Halo 6, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, I agree. That was like the worst thing, is that they didn't have any kind of split screen or anything like that for Halo 5. Like, you can't do a LAN party with Halo 5, and it has, in my opinion, the best multiplayer of the entire Halo franchise. So that's a good pick, man. Master Chief Collection it's a gem.
Yes. And that Halo 2 anniversary, that remaster of Halo 2 is gorgeous. It is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It feels modern.
It's so fun being able to hit that select button, or whatever it's called now, and like swapping between the two, so you can see like what it looked like back in 2002 or 3 or whatever when it came out, and now it looks like now. Yeah, it's amazing. What about you, James?
My 4.
Slick. Dang it, I did it.
No worries. It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be Grand Theft Auto 5. Because when I worked at GameStop, the game had been out for, I think, a year or so at that time. But they would always say, "Oh, you get 100,000 shark points," and then just people would just flock in to buy the game. Maybe at $40. Sometimes it would just be a full priced $60 game, and they would just come in and get it for those shark points. And and I played it too, and it was cool and all. But the online version side, that was the cool part, because you could do. I remember they added heists, and so you could like rob banks with your friends, and it was a whole series of linked together crimes that you could do. You could get to rob a car, so you can use this car in the next thing to rob a bank, and it was all linked together, and it was really, really fun. And I haven't been able to try the latest updates to the game, but just for the fact that I'm sure now it's still holding its value at $60 because people are still buying that game. I mean, I have it on the Xbox and the PlayStation because of the shark points and me wanting to play with people. And now Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting an online portion of that. And that that has to be due to the success of the Grand Theft Auto Online that came from 5. So that's why Grand Theft Auto is, my fourth, at least, on my list.
Hey man, that's fair. Grand Theft Auto, I've generally paid attention to like NPD sales and like what the best selling games are every single month. And it was crazy. Ever since Grand Theft Auto came out in 2013, almost every single month it makes it into the top 5 sellers of all games. Like, it's only been in the last like 6 months that it hasn't been making the list anymore. Like, you'd have a month where a Call of Duty game releases and Grand Theft Auto 5 was still number 5 on the list. Like, it was insane. Like, that game, I never even bought it. I don't know who was buying this game, but you can attest. You lived it by working at GameStop. People just going in, buying it all the time. Like,
they hit the sale. Yeah, and they would just come in and get it. It would be new players, or it'd be maybe I used to have the disc, but now I lost it, and they want a new disc, so they just buy the game again. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to buy it because I heard such great things about it, but I didn't want to pay $60 for a game that was 3-4 years old by the time I had interest in buying it, and it was never on sale for less than $40. And I'm like, for a game that's 4 years old, I want to pay $20, $30 at the most, and it was never on sale for that, and it still isn't, and I don't think it will be for a while. It's a powerhouse, and Red Dead is going to be similar in that way. Rockstar is just incredible. Well, let's move on. My number 3 is Uncharted 4. So yet another PlayStation exclusive is on my list. And I had never played the Uncharted series until a little over a year ago. I just hadn't played them. I've been an Xbox fan most of my life, other than like during the PlayStation 2 era. They had the Final Fantasy games, and I've always loved Final Fantasy. So I was a PlayStation guy during that, but then Halo kind of made me sell my PlayStation, and I was Xbox ever since. But yeah, Uncharted 4, I played it about a year ago. I played the whole franchise, and that game is, first of all, beautiful, and second, it has probably the best ending of any franchise I've ever played. From what I understand, they're not going to do any more with Nathan Drake. Like, his story is done, and I found that ending to just be so satisfying, just beautifully done. And story-wise, just in general, like his journey in that game is just incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, that looked like a beautiful game. I haven't played it yet because I wanted to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I've barely put my toe into the Uncharted series, but I had fun with it from the remasters. Those are fun games.
And that's what I did too. I'd never played them, so I played all of them. I got the Nathan Drake collection. My personal suggestion, get the collection. You can get it for cheap. Put it on easy just to blast through the story. And then, play Uncharted 4 on hard or normal, whatever you want to do. But I just did normal. I don't like playing on hard because I suck too much. But I just put the first 3 on easy and just crushed through them in, probably 8 hours a game kind of a thing. And then I played 4, which probably took me a good 20 or more. Not even just because of the difficulty, but just because it's a bigger game than those other ones are. And it's just great. I loved it. I loved that game.
Sweet.
Well, Tyler, what's yours?
Well, my number 3 is Destiny 1. That's my number 3. I think that Destiny 1 specifically is my favorite just because, because it was such a new idea once again, like bringing out something unique with trying to make it as MMO as possible for a shooter. That was just fantastic. Like, it's something that I've been waiting for a long time. And then, man, I am like totally brain farting on the name of the raid.
Vault of Glass?
Yes, Vault of Glass. Thank you. that was just such a great experience, and Bungie themselves has not been able to replicate that experience. Vault of Glass was just so much fun, getting those mechanics down, and the way that they made the Vex, like all like the enemies, the way that you have to kill the Vex, like every enemy is different with their crit spots, and it trying to get everybody to have the right weapons to do the right things and be in the right positions, and it just made it super fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody else is really going to be able to touch Destiny with what they're doing for quite a while, honestly. Anthem might come close, but it's I think Anthem is going to be such a different game at the same time. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I agree. People keep saying games are going to kill Destiny. Like they said, Division, it's going to be the Destiny killer. No, Destiny's still doing fine. And Anthem, same. Like Anthem doesn't even really have that online multiplayer. I mean, it has the online PvE, but it has no PvP. So I agree. It's not going to kill Destiny at all. And I've said on this show multiple times, I put like 1,200 hours into Destiny 1. Most of that played with Tyler, Captain Awesome there, actually. He and another buddy of ours, Ty, we played so much. Like literally when the House of Wolves expansion came out, they came over to my house with their Xboxes and their own TVs, and we hooked everything up and played together in the same house when that expansion first came out. And it was kind of a disaster because of networking, but it was fun. Yeah. So I love Destiny. So good, man.
Yeah, they did not make Destiny for that many people. I feel like playing on the same network for unless you have like a gaming network setup, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do some port forwarding and get that all set up. But yeah, man, that was so much fun. And I honestly though, looking at Anthem, I don't think it's going to stay PvE for the multiplayer forever. I agree. I think there's going to be enough of a push for people to be like, this should have PvP in it, that there's going to be an expansion comes out and they're going to add that in there.
Yeah, but will it be too late for the first? Because Division had the Dark Zone, which was fun. I loved the Dark Zone. It was a blast. But they never had like that arena-style PvP. And they added it with their last expansion, but by that point they had lost so much player base. Like I bought the season pass, but I never even played that expansion. Like I still kind of want to play the expansion, but
I think it all depends, because the problem that myself and I saw a lot of other people having online with the PvP in the Division was that it took the gear system to too much of an MMO style, to where like your kill times were not consistent, and like people who were playing more had like better gear and it was too hard to kill them. Like,
yeah,
I was the same level as some people trying to kill them, and I would unload 5 clips into them and it did nothing.
Like in the Dark Zone, you mean?
Yeah, in the Dark Zone. And with Destiny, it's like you've got your gear that does different things and gives you cool mechanics, but you're still going to generally have the same kill times. Like some people might have a little bit longer kill time, but like by a couple bullets, you know, you're not talking the drastic system that they had. So
it 2 seconds to kill instead of 1.5 seconds to kill.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so it's too, like, they made it too much in the Division, and it made it like when you were playing beta, so much fun.
Because
they had limited weapons and armor, and nobody had that powerhouse feeling. Everybody was kind of on the same page, and it was so much fun. But yeah, once that went away, I was like, I don't like this anymore. Because I'm not somebody who can invest 40 hours a week into this game, I can't do any damage, so it was kind of ridiculous. And so Anthem needs to take that example and be like, okay, this is how we need to run with that. But we have no idea how the gear system is going to work in Anthem and if it's going to have the same effect or not. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, what's your number 3, James?
Well, with my last 3 on my list, they kind of go to, what impact they've had on gaming, and it's Destiny. I'm just gonna say, I guess I'll say Destiny 1 as well because it was in the later generation. I started on Destiny 2, so I don't have that experience of Destiny 1, and I did like a little trial for Destiny 1 before the launch of Destiny 2, and I was like, why am I not? What have I been doing with my life? When I played Destiny 2, I love that game. I love that game, and I love the story they have. I love the PvE aspect, right? When I want to chill, when I want to explore, you got lost sectors and everything like that. But they have the PvP. It just felt like, for me, the best way I could explain it was it felt like Halo, but in a MMO kind of thing, in a it was amazing. It was awesome. It was like just an expanded world, rather than the kind of linear campaign maps that you had to go through in Halo. It was just this expanded world, it felt like. And it's space. I love space. And so yeah, when we talk about, these Destiny killers, quote unquote, it has to go back to looking at who develops these games. Bungie made Halo. They made a game that, pretty much one of the games that started competitive gaming, started esports, right? You had the Halo 2, competitions and LAN parties and everything like that, playing PvP. They weren't playing co-op story mode. And you look at it, you have EA, they made was Mass Effect, right? They kind of chopped up the team now, but it's still there, influencing it. So I think we're
talking about the people who helped define what shooters are, basically.
Especially on console.
Yeah. So, I think with all these other games, I think what what was that game I just said? The EA one.
Andromeda.
I think. No. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. The Destiny killer that's coming out next.
Oh, Anthem.
Anthem. Thank you. Anthem, I think, will have a good good competition with Warframe, because Warframe has a PvP, but it's like nobody does. That's like the no zone. You don't want to play that portion. But the PvE, everyone loves that. So I think that will be its main realm. One, because Warframe is free, and two, it's primarily PvE. And but yeah, no, Destiny. Destiny's on my list just because it's created this genre that now everyone is trying to chase after. And I think for the longest time it was the #1 watched console game on Twitch for a few seasons at least. Yeah. So that's a pretty good testament to the game itself.
Good old fork knife has ruined that.
Yeah.
Nice. So that was your number 3 then, right?
That was my number 3. Yeah, I just tagged along.
No, hey, nothing wrong with that. Now I'm feeling bad. I didn't put Destiny on my list, even though that it should be, because it is my favorite game ever. But I didn't want to put it on my list because I don't feel like it. I don't know why, but I decided not to put it on my list. Just because it didn't impact me. I didn't think it was the best made game. There we go. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think it's the best game that I've ever played just because it's so much fun. But my list was like the games I thought were the best, like developed. And Destiny was developed really well. It's on my honorable mentions. Anyway, my number 2 is a game Tyler talked about. And this will now be 3 PlayStation 4 exclusives in a row. God of War. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Norse mythology is already cool enough. So that makes the game great. And I never played the originals because I never enjoyed that kind of like fighting style. That's never been my thing. But this new one looked like my thing, and it totally was. beautiful world, incredible story, and the graphics are just stellar. The character development is amazing. The music, I can literally hear like the main song in my head still. It's just epic. And they also did something really cool with this game. It never cuts once. The entire game, it never cuts. So like if you actually sat down and played the entire game in one sitting, you would never see a cut. Like, and what I mean by that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like, you know, when you're watching a TV show or a movie, you'll see a screen, and then, you know, even in this scenario, James or Slick starts talking, it'll go to his screen. You know, that's a cut. The game never does. So like a cutscene starts, and it just like the camera starts to pan around until you see the front of the character, and then it's really artistically done and impressive. And I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I loved it. So God of War, another one I want to play when I finally get a PS4 Pro.
Nice. Yeah, I now will once again be jealous.
Throwing your axe and then summoning it back to you like Mjolnir is one of the coolest things.
Man. That's got to be awesome.
It is.
All right, no more of that. I'm
getting jealous. What you got, Tyler?
So my number 2 is going to be Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I didn't
original?
have anything specific about which one, but if I have to pick one, I would probably say the definitive edition, just because I feel like even though it was before it was definitive, it was a 360 game, but it was the best of the franchise, and in my opinion, and the definitive edition making it look that much better was just awesome. And I don't play a lot of RPGs like more than once, unless they have like an online element.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have played this one over and over again. Like it was really good. I did beat it twice.
I played it like 2.5 times, and it's a really good game.
Yeah, and it just kind of was something that reinvented Lara Croft. Previously I had no desires to play any Tomb Raider games.
Same. I didn't care about the franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, you thought about the character like she was Angelina Jolie, and that just wasn't like super appealing.
No, not at all.
But it just reinvented a character and made her awesome. She had like, I always felt like Tomb Raider had like potential. It had like a good core, but then it was just really poorly executed, and they just like totally made it so that those concerns went away. Like the game was just so fantastically done. The obvious change of it is they made it so she's not such a sexualized character. Like I felt like that was like the only reason some people played it is like, oh, I want the really pointy boobed Lara Croft for some reason, and so it was just a good move to take it to where it was more of she's just like this strong, awesome female character, and one of those that just walks the walk.
Totally.
And
a strong female character who happens to be beautiful, but it's not all about her being sexy like the originals were trying to be, even though it was horrible graphics. But like that was literally the intent of the originals.
I love skateboard ramp boobs, just saying. I'm just kidding.
Skateboard ramp boobs.
The only thing that they even did in the first Tomb Raider was they had that one guy who had that crush on her, like the guy who ended up dying for her, at one point. Like, let me be the hero or whatever, that guy. But other than that, it wasn't a part of the game at all. Like her looks had nothing to do with anything. And I mean, obviously, it's always going to be more appealing to have the character be more attractive, but like, but it wasn't
focus.
about that. It wasn't about that. So, and the puzzles were just super well done. The combat was really fun. I love being stealthy in that game with the bow and arrow. And I'm one of the rare people that even got into the PvP, and I was like killing it in the PvP until they stopped supporting it, and like all of the hackers got in there and just totally ruined it. But like, it was actually pretty fun. So yeah, Tomb Raider. It's my number 2.
Nice. Sounds like you need to play Uncharted. Uncharted is Tomb Raider with Nathan Fillion.
Dude,
yeah, that's how I felt.
I've been meaning to watch that movie that he made.
It was good. It was good. Seriously though, the character of Nathan Drake is very much like Nathan Fillion. Like, yeah, it's great.
And you know that I'm a big Nathan Fillion fan. Like, I love him.
I know, that's why I'm trying to sell you on Uncharted using his name.
I really do need to, but you know what? I also need to play Hellblade. I need to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I need to play Shadow of War. I've got a list, man.
Yeah, I hear you. What about you, James?
My last 2 are very similar, but they're different. And so my number 2 spot for me has to go to PUBG.
Boo.
And this this is because I really enjoy competitive gameplay in shooters, and but I also enjoy survival and traveling through a big open map, and that's what PUBG gave me. Now I didn't jump on at the height of it. I jumped on the tail end when it came to Xbox, but watching it was so entertaining, and listening to the call outs, it just felt like you were in a real firefight. And because of PUBG, it spun off so many other games to try to copy it. It created the battle royale genre, to where now that's a viable game mode in various games.
It did. There were other battle royales out, but it's true. PUBG really brought it into the spotlight.
Brought it in, and you always hear the complaint from the streamers, from the players. Oh man, this game needs so much work, but yet they kept coming back and playing it. And it did have sweaty moments, it had slow moments too, but it had sweaty moments that just made you want to get back into another match and get beat up. I was never good at it, but I did enjoy, playing on the Xbox in those sweaty moments. And that's why it's my number 2. It topped on Twitch for a long time, and it's it left a mark.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and even though that I haven't really found a battle royale game that I personally really like, I respect that choice, because PUBG, like you say, it was kind of one of the games that defined battle royales, and made them what they are today, So that's cool.
Well, I'm about to say my last one, but I'm going to bring up a picture onto the screen just for fun, and I'm not technical enough yet with YouTube and everything to know how to put it up like where my face would be. So,
oh man, what? I didn't even think of that.
The Witcher 3, best game of this generation.
It's
one
so
of the best games ever made, period. And I know you haven't played that one yet either, Tyler. Dude.
No.
So as far as story goes, I think God of War had a better story. I found it more engaging. I thought Hellblade had a more impact. It was more impactful on me, like with how much awareness it brought to mental health. But The Witcher 3 is so deep. The SDS guys are saying Fortnite for their favorite games. One of their favorite games. I don't like Battle Royale, so boo. It's not my thing. But thanks for commenting, SDS guys. They're another podcast in Arizona that we've been kind of collaborating with. They were actually on our last episode. Cool bunch of guys. Anyway, yeah, The Witcher 3, it has a cool story, but what's best about The Witcher 3's story isn't even the main storyline. It's all the side quests. Near the beginning of the game, you go on this side quest for this character called the Red Baron, and it's so elaborate and like just all over the place, like it is such a cool side quest, and it's so deep, and there's so many like that. Like, you play a side quest in The Witcher 3 that's people would make jokes like one side quest in The Witcher 3 has more story than Destiny 1 ever had. And it's true. Like, even the Taken King, which the Taken King improved on Destiny's story a lot, but The Witcher 3's side quests were incredible. And I would just get lost. Like, I played about 5 hours of The Witcher 3 and I was like, I'm good. And I left it for about 3 months. And then I came back and I just blew 45 hours into it over the next like few weeks. And like played it until I was done with the main story. And then I started it over on PC a while back and I played it for like 8 hours straight one day. It's just gorgeous. I love fantasy to begin with, so that's a plus. The side quests are deep. The gameplay isn't the best. It's not as bad as people say, though. Like, people complain about the combat. I think it's fine. Not the best, but it's fine. The characters are just intriguing. The voice acting is great. And I can't get enough of it. The world is gigantic to where, like, you've played this whole area and then you're, like, about to go to a new part of the story and you're like, wait, there's a whole nother area? And then you finish that and you're like, wait, there's a whole nother area that's just as huge? Like, it's massive. And I think, I haven't compared it, but I would imagine that Assassin's Creed Odyssey's map is actually bigger than The Witcher 3's, but because so much of that map in Odyssey is explored on a boat, I feel like The Witcher 3's map is bigger and it's denser and better. It's just it's a good game. It's so probably in my top 3 of all time.
How do you feel about Henry Cavill?
Meh, honestly.
Yeah.
I love Henry Cavill and I think he can do a good job, but so he's got a couple things going for him. One, he's got rugged looks, and the character does have that. 2, he's got a deep baritone, and the character has that. I mean, his is even lower and gruffer, but I think Henry Cavill can get to that. So Henry Cavill just needs to impersonate Batman, and he'll sound a lot like Geralt. Yeah. It's more how tan he is, like in the wig that the wig in the screen test they did a while back. I thought he looked awful.
It looked terrible.
I agree.
It looked so bad. It looks so bad.
He needs some facial hair too, man.
He needs facial hair, but they're basing it on the books, and in the books he doesn't have facial hair.
I don't care.
And he has longer hair like that. So I want the hair to be shorter, and I want the beard. I want him to look more like the video game character, because that character looks like a bad egg.
Okay, but like, how good is it to base it on the books if he looks stupid? Like,
I agree. I agree.
Come on.
Well, and he needs to have like a big scar on his face, and he'll probably have stuff like that,
Oh yeah, they're not done.
There, maybe.
Yeah, but like Boss Logic did some fan art recently of Henry Cavill. Looks incredible. Like, Boss Logic knows what's up. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Henry.
It's not a finished product what they showed us, so we can still cross our fingers.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
So my number 1 is Overwatch.
Really?
Yes.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I haven't played it as much recently just because I've had to catch up on so many games. But yeah, man, it's so well done. And honestly, when the game was announced and they were showing, the mechanics of what the game was going to be, I wasn't like super excited about that. Like, I was not like super into the idea of, carrying the payloads and doing all that kind of stuff. But just the way that it turned out, first off, the artwork is phenomenal in that game.
It is really cool and unique.
Yeah, it's super unique. And in something that makes it really cool is I feel like it doesn't take a ton of power to render tons of graphics. So they can continue to put in all kinds of CGI from abilities and stuff like that and not hinder your gameplay, especially if you're playing on One X, and so it's something that's really cool. Everybody likes, for the most part, obviously not everybody, but
I hated it at first so much.
Really?
Yeah, dude. When I played the beta with you and Ty, I hated it. And for the next 6 months, you were begging me to play it. You and Ty were like, "It's so good, we need to play it." And then there was a free play weekend, and I played it, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is fun! Wow!" And then it was on sale for Black Friday, so I bought it. Yeah, it's a great game, but I hated it at first. It was just not for me. I didn't think.
Yeah, because you didn't like that everybody couldn't sprint.
I hated that. I still hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still hate that. But whatever, I can get over that.
I was like, play Soldier 76. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that made it better, actually. And then I moved on to some other characters, and I actually find that when I play Overwatch, I stay alive longer than I do in Destiny, for instance.
Yeah, no, and I love how you have the different characters and they're cohesive. I love making the right builds and playing the right characters and working off of each other. Like you got people who throw their ultimates together, and you can just wipe out the whole team in one shot. And if you use it right, so you kind of have to be working with your team and do the right things, and you don't even have to have a mic a lot of the times, because you can do the little call outs. Like if that two of the characters have an ultimate that work well together, you can both just put out the call out ultimate is ready, and you both know, okay, when we use this, the other person uses it, and so it made it more versatile at that point, to where it's better to have a mic, obviously, but you don't necessarily have to. And I know a lot of people online don't really like talking to people when they're gaming. Yeah, so I mean, it makes it, and it honestly, it depends for me, because there's just a lot of idiots online, and I just don't want to talk to them. It's just how it is. I mean, I get along with most people, but then there's just some people where it's like, shut up, no, you do not want to talk to them. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's a fantastic game, and really, for me, opened up a new door to liking a new type of game, so a new type of shooter. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're gonna finish us off, James. Make us proud. Dang it, Slick.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to.
That's what she said.
Here, but you're gonna soon be bad. I'm going to say Fortnite's my
All right,
number.
booted from the call.
I'm done.
I'm done. Lost Slick. He must be going through a tunnel.
I'm just kidding. I don't hate Fortnite. I'm just not into battle royales. Go ahead. You're good.
If you watch my channel and watch me play Fortnite, I hate the gameplay. I hate playing Fortnite. I'll get in those modes where I want to play it, and it's exciting. I see the building and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then I try to build 2 walls, and then I instantly die. That's not fun. But the reason it's my number one is because what they're doing to the industry for free to play. They, before not even, probably 2 years ago, you'd say, oh, this game's free to play. You want to play with me? And you would just get laughed at. I'm not playing some mobile game. I'm not playing some free game where it says you have to use an ability and then you have to wait 5 minutes, or you can pay now to use it again, But what Epic did with Fortnite, and it was thanks to, I don't know if they had an original plan. I don't know the rumors on all that stuff, but PUBG had the BR genre, kind of kept that going, and Fortnite was like, hey, let's add this to the game, and because of their artwork, and their mechanics of building and everything, they're able to bring longevity to this game they're playing, all for free, and it just takes storm. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the state of gaming a year or two ago, I just remember I don't ever, ESPN didn't have a gamer on their cover, and that's Ninja. For he got big, when he started playing Fortnite.
If you
And
ever get a hookup with Ninja, can you have him send me some money?
yeah, for sure. Let me call him up. But yeah, that's why it's, I respect what the company's doing. I like the model they have where it's all cosmetics. Everything's, the season is laid out. If you don't want to buy the season, you can play for free, and you can earn money to potentially work towards buying a season eventually. Or you could just buy the season. And it's all cosmetics. I love their creativity, like creative environment they have with that art design. Because, I mean, if PUBG wanted to do that, they're trying to do it with Harley Quinn and the Joker right now. And the comment section in each of the posts is just nothing but ridiculous negativity. And so they can't have the interesting, cosmetics like Fortnite can. Yeah. Everyone's going nuts over the OG skins,
Or they have Thanos,
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
So, that I respect what the business model is and what the company's doing. I mean, they're sticking it to platforms, saying, kind of making PlayStation really have to actually jump into this cross-play aspect, and they're setting up abilities for people to consoles to play with PC, and enjoy it, because it's a mixed environment, and whether, and it's not like, they understand, hey, you're going to be playing with keyboard and mouse, right? And people are actually having a good time. Yeah. And I like that aspect of Fortnite, the gameplay and all that stuff. I'll watch it, but the business model is what I respect out of that game.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like one of the biggest games before Fortnite that had the free-to-play aspect was League of Legends.
Yeah.
But Fortnite took it to a new level, because even with League of Legends, they weren't willing to take the risk of having, the whole game be free. Where, like, you like you said, you buy cosmetics, and it's not something where you're hindered playing the game if you don't buy that. Whereas, like with League of Legends, that you can play for free, but it rotates which characters you can play for free.
Oh.
And you can't, so you only have access to part of the game for free. They do let you unlock characters and stuff, but like, if you're going to unlock a character, you have to play like so many hours, and then you can unlock one, so it's like, it didn't take the leap that Fortnite took, like you're talking about, to making the game really free, and then making it so that people are so into it that they're willing to pay for all this extra stuff. You know what I mean? And League of Legends does have that, and a lot of people have copied League of Legends. You've got Smite, Gigantic has come out, stuff like that, and they've kind of copied that model, but nobody, I feel like, or very few people, are doing what Fortnite's doing. So, yeah, I agree.
No, I think what they're doing, nothing what Epic is doing, is great, and they are making loads of money. And the game is free. Everyone can play it. You just have to buy cosmetics, and that'll make them money, And you don't have to buy cosmetics. You can still have fun without it. And it's fantastic in that way. Or the cross-platform. Like, you can play Fortnite with Switch players, with PC players, with mobile players.
That's everything. Aspect.
And that's awesome. And then PS4 is going to be joining in on that too. It's incredible. And that alone, like, that's what gaming, I hope the future of gaming is. Like, I hope someday I can log in to play Destiny, because as far as multiplayer games, that's like my jam, is Destiny.
Yeah.
I have a buddy at work who plays on PS4, but I can't play with him because I'm on Xbox. Or, or I have friends that are on Xbox, and sometimes it'd be nice to be able to play on my PC and, have that 60 frames, occasionally. but I have more friends on Xbox, so I've kind of just switched to playing it on Xbox. And I really hope one day I can play that cross-platform. Or, Call of Duty. That's a huge franchise. Like, imagine the player base if you could play with everybody across all platforms. I get that there's the challenges with PC and mouse and keyboard, but I think it's really cool what Epic has done with Fortnite.
Or Elite controller and PS4 controller.
I mean, hey, you can get a SCUF controller. You can get a SCUF controller.
Yeah, SCUF.
Or Elite versus a normal Xbox controller. I mean, hey, I got an advantage with my Elite controller either way.
Yeah, that's true.
Having an Elite controller playing Red Dead is really nice.
Oh my gosh! So I don't think I told you, Max. My Elite controller is kaput again.
Oh no!
Yeah. So
that left bumper?
No, it's the
It's my left bumper for me, but it still works.
It's the joystick. So like it started like moving up on its own, just slightly. But then the more I played it, it started getting very drastic to where I couldn't play anymore. But I searched the internet for somebody who could fix it because it was past warranty, and nobody fixes them, dude. So like I found a guy who is really good at soldering stuff, soldering motherboards and stuff, and I bought a new joystick off of Amazon and had him solder it on. But the problem is that they're not original equipment manufacturer parts. They're not reliable. So it worked for a little bit, and now it doesn't go up. It goes to the right. Like it just like, and it's like way worse than it was before. Like I can't select anything in a menu. So yeah, it just like I turned it on and it just started like scrolling through a menu like tick 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 tick, like I couldn't pick anything. So yeah, I had to turn it off. So I don't know though, maybe I'll get the wife to get me a white one for Christmas. We'll see.
There you go.
That'd be cool. It's so nice to have. Well, anyway, I think that'll do it for us tonight. So real quick before we go, I want to talk about our band for the week. I pretty much already mentioned all my honorable mentions throughout the show, other than Halo 5 and Gears 4. Those are my honorable mentions. I also had Assassin's Creed Odyssey on there, Destiny, and FF15. But our song for the week is by this little band called Earth Girls. And the song is I Thought You Knew from their album Wanderlust. It's their LP. So, again, that band is Earth Girls. They're with Grave Mistake Records. And the song is I Thought You Knew. As always, please check us out on couchcrunchers.com. We got tons of articles going up all the time. Tyler himself writes articles. He's Captain Awesome. He does our Flash reviews. I've been reviewing Titans, which after this, maybe I'll finally get to watch the latest episode of that. We got comic book reviews going up, movie reviews. We have a review of The Girl in the Spider's Web. Lots of great stuff going up there. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Before we do our Nerds, Dorks, Geeks Unite, Slick, tell us, where can people find you?
AZNSlickSlaya, SLAYA, AZNSlickSlaya. Just put that in the search engine on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you'll find me. I'm also on Mixer. We're making a move to Mixer. I love the stuff they're doing over there, and of course on Twitch. So just put my name up in that search bar, and you'll find my channel.
If you see a guy wearing this tie hat and a ninja mask, you're at the right place. He's a lot of fun to watch. I like watching James. He interacts with the audience really well, which is fun. Anytime I've commented, I've gotten a reply back from him. So keep up the great work, James.
Dude, okay, Slick.
Yes.
You need to go and audition for the new reboot of Big Trouble Little China.
Okay.
Say hi to Dwayne Johnson for me, man. I think you could totally make it.
Oh, nice. I will.
Nice. All right. Well, you're familiar with our outro, right, James? The Nerds, Dorks, Geeks Unite.
I am.
Cool. So we're going to get you involved in it. So I want you to start us off with nerds. Tyler will say dorks. I will say geeks, and then we will all say unite. Sound good?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Cool. So go ahead and start us off.
Nerds,
Dorks!
Geeks, unite!
unite!